Ever get that feeling? Like deep down, there's this hidden potential inside you. Like you could be doing so much more. Or, just believing bigger things about yourself.
Hmm. Like you're meant to be soaring at a higher altitude.
Yeah, exactly. But how do we even figure out how to get there? And the thing that really gets me is how much our surroundings, like the people we're around, the places we spend time, how much they shape those
But
beliefs.
almost sneaky, right? How subtle that influence can be. We don't even realize it's happening half the time.
Totally. And that's actually what today's deep dive is all about. We're going to take a look at Fly, Eagle, Fly by Christopher Gregorowski.
Okay, an eagle. Got it. Soaring to new heights. I see where we're going with this.
You got it. Now, you might be thinking, wait, a children's story? Really? What's that got to do with, like, my potential and all that? But seriously, stick with us. This is more than just a simple kid's tale. It's this really captivating story. And it's drawn from traditional African folklore. It's got these beautiful illustrations by Nikki Daly.
Well, I've seen his work. It really brings these stories to life.
Right. And get this, there's even an introduction by Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, when you have a figure like Archbishop Tutu involved, you know there's something special about this story.
Absolutely. For generations, this story has resonated with people, and for a good reason. Because tucked within this seemingly simple children's book, there's a powerful message of hope. So think of today's deep dive as our mission to sort of uncover and, really explore the layers of wisdom tucked away in Fly, Eagle, Fly. We're going to figure out what makes this story so timeless and what it can teach us about ourselves. Ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's introduce you to the main players in this story.
All right, so the story centers around a few key characters, and each one, they really illuminate the central themes of the book. First up, we've got the farmer. He's portrayed as this kind, caring guy, and one day, after a big storm, he stumbles upon a baby eagle, all alone.
Ah, poor little eaglet.
Yeah, so the farmer takes the eaglet home, right? And out of the goodness of his heart, he decides to raise it with his chickens.
With his chickens.
Yep, with the chickens. Because he genuinely believes that this little eagle is just another chicken.
So he's totally missing the mark on what this creature actually is.
Yeah, exactly. And that right there, that assumption, that sets the whole stage for the story. You've got this creature with this incredible ability to fly, to see the world from this amazing perspective. Right. But the farmer's understanding, his whole view of the world, is shaped by his immediate surroundings.
And he's unintentionally limiting the potential of this eagle just by the way he sees things.
Right. It makes you think about how often we do that to each other, right? Yeah. Even with the best intentions, we can accidentally put limits on people's beliefs about themselves just by our own expectations.
So we've got the farmer who's, well-meaning but a little bit short-sighted. Then, of course, we have the eagle. Well, it starts as a baby eagle, but it grows up physically into a full-blown eagle. But it acts like a total chicken.
Right. The poor thing. Found alone after that storm, it's never known anything other than the chicken coop. So it's learned to peck at the ground, to cluck. It basically does everything the chickens do.
It's learned to fit in.
Exactly. And here's the really fascinating part. It has absolutely no idea that it can fly. Zero awareness of those powerful wings it's carrying.
The potential is there, but the environment is totally suppressing it.
This is a perfect example of how much our surroundings can really shape our sense of self. I mean, it's not just the eagle copying the chickens. It's like it's fully bought into that chicken identity.
And that right there highlights how these early experiences, if we don't have other viewpoints, can really block us from seeing our own strengths. Like, we might have all these amazing abilities lying dormant, but without the right opportunities or encouragement, they might never come out.
It's like, imagine a seed that never gets any sunlight. It has the potential to grow into this incredible plant, but without the right environment, it's never going to reach its full potential.
Okay, but thankfully the story doesn't end there. Enter the farmer's friend.
Ah, yes. The friend. This is where things start to get interesting, because the friend is the one who brings in the fresh perspective, the one who can see what the farmer's been missing all along.
Like a breath of fresh air.
The friend sees this full-grown eagle pecking in the dirt like a chicken, and it's like, wait a minute, that's no chicken. That's an eagle. And he becomes determined to help the eagle realize its true potential.
He's the one who sees past the limitations that the farmer and even the eagle itself have placed on it.
Right. Sometimes we just need someone from the outside to help us see those possibilities that we're blind to, like a mentor, a guide, or even just a friend who can give us a new perspective.
So we've got the scene set, we've got the farmer. well-intentioned but limited in his view. We've got the eagle completely lost in its chicken world. And then we've got the friend who's ready to step in and shake things up.
Right. And with those pieces in place, the story really starts to unfold.
So let's go through the key plot points. I mean, like we touched on earlier, the story kicks off when the farmer finds that poor baby eagle right after that huge storm. It's this chance event that leads the eagle down a completely different path.
Yeah. It's like sometimes life throws us these curveballs that can really shape our whole development, even if they send us in a direction that's totally not aligned with who we truly are.
And after the farmer takes the eagle in, we see it growing up in the chicken coop, learning all their habits, their language. I mean, it basically becomes a chicken.
And that's where the farmer really starts to solidify that belief, right? That the eagle is just another one of his chickens. The more he sees it acting like a chicken, the more convinced he becomes.
So the eagle's behavior is basically confirming the farmer's initial assumption, even if it's not accurate.
Exactly. And that's where we really see the power of our environment. The more we're exposed to certain things, the more they become our reality, even if they don't reflect who we are deep down.
So the eagle's stuck, living this chicken life.
Right. Its true instincts have never been triggered.
And then comes the friend, and boom, everything changes.
The friend sees the eagle and immediately says, "That's not a chicken, that's an eagle." And he tries to get it to fly.
But it doesn't work at first, right?
Nope, no luck.
Yeah.
The eagle is so convinced that it's a chicken, it just goes right back to pecking at the ground.
That's such a powerful moment. It shows you how deep those learned beliefs can go. Even when someone is showing you evidence to the contrary, it's hard to break free from that ingrained self-image.
It's not enough to just tell someone they can do something. They have to believe it deep down. And to get to that belief, you often need more than just words. You need a complete shift in perspective.
And that's where the friend comes in again, right?
Right. He comes up with a plan. He convinces the farmer to take the eagle to the top of this really high mountain. And he picks a very specific time. Sunrise.
A mountaintop at sunrise. That imagery definitely seems intentional.
Absolutely. There's so much symbolism packed into that setting. The mountaintop, you're leaving the limitations of the coop behind, right?
Yeah.
You're getting up high, getting a wider view of things. And then the sunrise. That's a new beginning, a fresh start, the beginning of possibilities.
It's like the perfect setting for a transformation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's right there, as the sun's coming up, that the friend says those incredible words, "Fly, eagle, fly. You belong not to the earth, but to the sky."
Chills.
It's like in that moment, something clicks for the eagle. It feels the wind under its wings, and it's like a whole new world opens up.
Like all of a sudden it gets it.
Yes. And it stretches those amazing wings and takes off, soars away. And the story says it never goes back to the chicken coop.
Amazing.
It's a powerful image of what it means to embrace your true self and break free from those limitations, those things that have been holding you back, either from your own mind or from the world around you.
Really makes you think about what we might be holding ourselves back from, right? Maybe we've got those eagle wings, but we're stuck in a chicken coop mentality.
So what are the main lessons, the big takeaways from Fly, Eagle, Fly?
Well, one of the most important is believe in yourself. Believe in what you're capable of.
Even when it feels impossible.
Even then. The eagle lived its whole life thinking it was a chicken, based on what it was told and what it saw around it. But it wasn't a chicken. It was an eagle with the power to soar. And we all have that potential.
It's so easy to get caught up in our day-to-day lives with all the noise and information coming at us. But we need to remember to stop, look inward, and recognize those unique skills, those talents we have.
And that leads right into another big theme, freedom. When the eagle flies, it's not just about escaping the chicken coop. It's about breaking free from those limitations that were holding it back, becoming who it was truly meant to be.
It's like claiming your own space in the world. Absolutely. And hand in hand with freedom comes identity. The eagle's journey, it's all about discovering its true identity. It's not defined by the environment it was raised in. It's about looking beyond those external labels and recognizing who you truly are at your core.
And that can be so challenging, right? To break free from those labels that other people put on us, or even the ones we put on ourselves.
But the story also reminds us that it's possible. And it offers this amazing sense of hope. The eagle was raised believing it was a chicken, but it still found its way to its true self. And we can too. We can overcome those challenges, those limiting situations, and we can achieve incredible things.
It's like, yeah, maybe you started in a tough spot, but you've got the power to change your story.
Right. And to do that, you've got to overcome those limitations, whether that's self-doubt, negativity, a bad environment, or just plain fear of failure. Whatever that chicken coop represents for you, you've got to break free from it to reach your full potential.
It's interesting, though, how this simple story about an eagle connects to so many other stories we know and love.
You know, you're right. This theme of realizing your potential, even when it's not obvious at first, pops up everywhere. Take the ugly duckling, for example.
Totally. Everyone thought it was just an ugly duckling, but really it was a beautiful swan just waiting to emerge.
Exactly. Or think about Dumbo. He was ridiculed for his big ears, but they ended up being what allowed him to fly.
And don't forget, the little engine that could. I mean, that tiny engine kept telling itself, I think I think I can, and it ended up pulling that train over the mountain.
All these stories like Fly, Eagle Fly, they show us that we can't judge a book by its cover, right? Or by its starting point. There's so much potential hidden inside each and every one of us.
And Fly, Eagle, Fly isn't just a story, it's a parable, right? It's meant to teach us something.
Right. It's like those parables you find in religious texts or those classic fables that have been passed down for generations. They're packed with wisdom. And Fly, Eagle, Fly fits right into that tradition.
It's using this simple, engaging story to teach us about some really deep truths. So speaking of wisdom, let's talk about the people behind this story.
Right. So the author, Christopher Gregorowski, he has a pretty fascinating background. He was an Anglican priest, and he spent years working with the Asosa people in South Africa. And that's where he first heard this tale of the eagle.
Oh, interesting. So where did the original story come from?
It was actually in a biography of Dr. J.E.K. Agri. He was this amazing missionary and educator from Ghana in West Africa. And he was known for sharing this story as a way to illustrate human potential.
Wow. So the story has these deep roots in African storytelling, passed down through generations. And Gregorowski was so moved by it, he decided to retell it.
Exactly. And there's a really personal touch to his version. He actually rewrote Fly, Eagle, Fly for his daughter Rosalind, who was quite sick at the time. He wanted to share this message of resilience with her.
Oh, wow. That's so touching.
Right. It adds this whole other layer of meaning to the story. To know that it was written with his deep love and hope for his daughter. And by the way, today, Christopher Gregorowski is a bishop in Table Bay, South Africa.
Oh, wow. So he's continued to dedicate his life to helping others. And let's not forget the beautiful artwork. Those illustrations by Nikki Daly really bring the story to life.
Absolutely. Nikki Daly's a really well-respected illustrator in South African children's literature. And it's interesting to note that the book actually had two versions of the illustrations.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
The original version of Fly, Eagle, Fly was published back in 1982, and the illustrations were done in just two colors. But when it was re-released in 2000, Nikki Daly created a whole new set of illustrations, this time in full color. It just adds so much more depth and vibrancy to the story.
It's like the story itself got a chance to soar to new heights.
Exactly. And of course, we have to acknowledge Dr. Agre, the one who originally told this story. His role just shows how important it is to keep these traditional tales alive, to share the wisdom they carry. It's a beautiful example of how stories can connect us across generations and cultures.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Fly, Eagle, Fly, it's clear that the message is simple yet powerful. Believe in yourself. Believe in your potential, even when it's not obvious to others, or even to yourself.
Right. Don't let those limiting beliefs or those negative voices hold you back. Remember, you have the power to break free from any chicken coop that you might find yourself in.
So here's a question for you to think about. What would your sky look like? If you were to really embrace your potential, shed those limitations, what incredible things could you achieve? It's a question worth pondering, even after our deep dive is over.
It is. And who knows what amazing heights we can all reach when we dare to fly.